Three, two, one.
Go.
Hi, I'm Chris, this is Zoe. We're in Kent and we farm some goats, sheep and cattle.
You're taking her down, yeah?
So Becca, they're just getting another leg out.
One leg. There you go.
Wow. Yeah. One leg out.
You actually want them
like together, like a Superman.
You're talking about two nipples as well.
Yeah.
She's got both.
Yeah.
So she's only meant to have one there and one there.
I always just break that thing if we've got them down.
Yeah.
They always got a little wax plug in there. I just give that a...
Yeah, so you want them to come like that.
Like a Superman.
But I put my hand in and there was no way I was going to get the second leg out. Like, no way in hell. Usually I'd give it a go, but it was more important to get it out than to faff around trying to get a leg. Her pelvis, like, yeah, just wouldn't.
And now she licks the lamb because to get the mucus off?
Dry it, yeah.
It's to dry it and it stimulates their bonds, doesn't it?
It stimulates the lamb.
Yeah. And what happens to the kind of jelly bits at the back?
That will just fall out of her and then she'll probably eat it.
Like your placenta?
Yeah.
like a celeb.
Yeah. And then she makes it into like these really cool little vitamin pills and then she just pops them. Hashtag placenta.
In public as well.
But yeah.
Wow.
I really wanted her to have that naturally.
Yeah, so
I actually really like seeing you guys like get involved just to understand it more.
Yeah.
it's a shame she didn't have that really, but you know, it's out to lie.
And that's the main thing, isn't it?
That's all we care.
She's got milk.
I don't care how it gets to you.
Yeah.
And it shows the reasoning why you would have, why
Yeah.
you have to, why you only do.
Why
it.
you intervene when you need to. You know, you give it plenty of time.
Oh yeah, like
You can
it.
do a lot more harm
Maybe
than
if she'd had the head and 1 foot and the head hadn't have come out, maybe I would have left her a little bit longer. But because the head came out, it becomes a bit time sensitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that bar/noise that they make, they only really make it to their lambs, don't they? All times of the year, they won't really make that noise. And I love it. It's like proper in the throat. See, she's eating her afterbirth now.
That's what I like the news doing that as well. Cleaning up after.
So one thing, they'll do it so that predators don't realise there's young lambs. And also I think it's nutrients as well. But the noise does make me feel like...
I must admit, I'm not sure I'll be eating my placenta. Do you know what I mean?
Are you the one with the poo bum?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's the clean one.
Oh my. Oh, thank you.
Mitt,
I'm so happy right now.
you wanna come up? Come here then.
Hi, baby.
Whoa. You've got a pooey bum, I think, haven't you?
Yes. Are the
Yes.
girls or boys?
What do you look?
Yours is a boy, I think.
Just gonna
Oh,
test
you're
you.
going to test me.
What's that one?
A girl.
2 little nips.
I was like, the
Oh,
balls
you've
can't
got
be that little.
poo stuck on your foot. Oh. You're all right, love. So we wouldn't normally, usually they kid in that other barn, but she kidded outside and they were both, didn't stand for like 5 hours. So we're obviously in here, so I brought them in here and I said to Chris, like, couldn't be bothered to go and get straw from over there, so just put hay, opened the top of that barrel, just chucked it in, and then yeah, they were just awful. Like they were just laid out in that little cat basket underneath that light, and they were just. I said, because they're a prem, they're not due till what are we on now? They're 6th. They were due.
Yeah.
They were born yesterday, so. Mate, look at the camera,
Gosh,
please.
don't get camera shy now.
Snuggling in. So do you stay in here then, Zoe?
Yeah, I sleep in there.
No, but I
the
think that's really
caravan.
interesting that you stay in the caravan.
Yeah, so we during the first lockdown, it was just all up in the air. We were about to start lambing, and everyone was dying in Italy basically, and everyone needed those permits to go to work in Italy. So Kriss and I panicked, so we bought the caravan. That's literally when I spoke to you last.
Series
your
1,
podcast.
you had the
Yeah,
you
I'd
were in the
literally
caravan.
just bought it, hadn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we lived in there that year, and it just was so, because we live like 20 minutes away. So if we live at home and then have obviously lambing here, first of all, we just drive to and from, and we're just laying in bed panicking. Whereas here, if there's, so for example, if I was worried about these kids, I can literally just roll out
Pop
the
out,
door
yeah.
and check. So for mental health wise, it's a godsend, but
I think
also
that's really
like
important.
energy, like
I
that.
think it's really important.
And
I
also,
think
it's not good to drive when you're that tired. And this is what we were saying earlier, you know, we don't check them through the night. We
Yeah.
just get up early. If there was someone we was worried about, we'd probably bring them into the barn and then we could just roll out and check her. But on the whole, we don't check them, and we will sleep from like 9 o'clock all the way through till the sun comes up, and that's like non-negotiable, because we will start making mistakes, and even if that mistake, you know, it might be that we make a bad judgment call on a sheep, but also that mistake, you know, it could be, I don't know, something a lot more dangerous. I can't really think of one right now. Still a bit tired, but do you know what I mean? Like it could be a really bad mistake.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do try and be a little bit more. Try and be a little bit sensible when it comes to sleep. And like sometimes we do say, oh, I'm just, so like during the day you might go in for lunch and then have a little sit down and watch telly for half an hour. Whereas what would we do if we didn't have the caravan? Just sit in the truck, like.
Yeah, I think as you say as well, it's like important for your mental health.
Oh, hugely.
Like so important.
Hugely.
Because I mean, we talk about it all the time, don't we? There's not only isolation, but there is the tiredness and anxiety as well. You know, you are looking after. There's a huge responsibility on your shoulders.
There's nothing worse than that year, the Beast from the East year, and we was laying in bed listening to the sound outside, and knowing that we don't have a barn to lamb, that everything was due to lamb. We didn't have a barn, we didn't have anything, and we were laying in bed listening to the wind. Like, even if we go out now, there's actually nothing we can do. And that was really rough. So I think having a barn here and then us living on, like, we feel like we've made it, like, in lambing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid, but we feel like actually we've nailed it now, like everything's kind of slotted into place. We're obviously not where we want to be long term, but in terms of, like, I'm human, like I'm not, like I'm holding a conversation, whereas there's been years where we definitely have not.
Yeah.
Like there's been years where there's no way I would have been able to say, oh yeah, come and film, because we would have been dead on our feet. Like we're saying, we wouldn't, I don't think we would be able to lamb indoors. First of all, this barn here, we don't actually rent this barn. It's just a hay shed, and then she just lets us camp out in here with the caravan, and she obviously doesn't know about these casualties that we have in here with us. But you know what I mean? Like, and also, how many could you lamb in here? Not really that many, even if we did. So we wouldn't be able to, there's no way we would be able to lamb a flock inside.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, so we've never had, touchwood, never had a goat prolapse. And the kids are way more streamlined. Like, they do literally like cough and fire out. Genuinely, like I've never seen it. The first time Kriss and I saw one fly out like that, we both looked at each other like, why are we messing around with sheep for? Like, we'll just get some of these. And we've got a lot more goats now, because obviously the meat's really popular. But we only bought the goats because we liked them. Like, we never planned for it to be like a huge meat thing.
Yeah.
And then when the little farm fridge obviously got up and running, and we started selling goat meat through there, and I thought it would just be basically people that have moved to Britain from other countries and can't get goat meat, because I've never seen it in I don't know about you two, I've never seen it in a supermarket, or actually rarely in a butcher's. And I thought, okay, so we started off by ringing a couple of restaurants and seeing if ones that had goat on the menu, seeing if they wanted to buy it, because obviously we didn't have much. And most of them get it from abroad for about £3.50 a kilo frozen. That's what it was,
God.
which is cheaper than lamb, isn't it?
Yeah,
It was creepy. Like, both of us were like, serious?
Yeah.
And we said, like, your chefs can come up if you want to the farm and see the goats and kind of talk about breeding and stuff like that. That would be great if you wanted to have it on your menu. No. So we were like, oh crap, maybe we need to rethink this whole goat thing. And then we did some goat kebabs on the Little Farm Fridge website to kind of ease people in.
Yes.
And loads of people were like, oh, do you not do it on the bone? And we were like, okay, so you do want goat then. And we did goat kebabs and spiced goat burgers, because we thought then it's kind of ease them in. You just hit your head on that heat lamp. Just kind of ease them in. And then loads of people were asking for goat on the bone and half goats and things like that.
I'm honestly really surprised by
So
that.
surprised. And what a lot of it is either people that have been to like Cyprus and Greece and tried goat but haven't had it since because they can't get it, or a lot of it, which was even more surprising for me, was people, because where we live here is so close to London, but it is a bit green. So a lot of people that lived in, say, Brixton, South London, used to eat goat all the time, and, you know, from takeaways, restaurants, things like that, and then they've moved out here and haven't had it since, want to impress their friends with, oh, I used to cook this when I lived in London. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a centerpiece,
interesting.
like a thing, and we cannot get enough goat.
Wow.
So at the moment, obviously, all the nannies are pregnant. They're going to kid, well, from now. And all the kids aren't quite ready for meat yet. They're probably about a month or two off. So we haven't had goat for over a month. And my phone will ring 3-4 times a week for goat. It's insane. Thing is, right, with the Little Farm Fridge, we could have charged a hell of a lot more than we did, but we wanted to be able to say to a single mum of 3 kids, you can once a week treat yourself to, you know, a small topside, for example, that was grown down, you know, farmed, grown down the road from you, butchered by us, and you can afford that for your Sunday roast. We want that to be an option for everyone, just to be considered. So that's why we didn't, you know, we could have priced it a lot higher, but that's what we chose to do, because someone needs to do that. Otherwise they are going to go to a cheap supermarket and get it imported from Brazil.
I think that's so important and great that you're doing that, because again, we've always said we have the privilege and luxury to choose.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody has the finances or the availability.
Or even the outlet
Yeah.
in an acceptable distance to go and get
So
it.
I think that's
And
amazing.
that's what we've noticed. So we courier out our meat, and I have so many in London, so many that I courier out to London. And I don't think it's because, you know, the only reason I can put is that they don't have their little farm shops and their stuff like we do here. Everyone, I can't think of anywhere else in the country that wouldn't be able to, you know, maybe Manchester or something, but even then, whereas London, you physically wouldn't be able to, and we're obviously the closest county.
Yeah.
But yeah, we feel very lucky that we can just eat off the farm.
Yeah.
Like, we just go down and choose what we want to eat, which I've never had before in my life, and it is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
The first time I ate some of our meat, I was a bit like, because I was a vegetarian for the whole time I lived in London, and then when I met Kriss, I started eating a bit of meat again, and it did feel strange. But now I've seen like the whole process from it being born, like watched it got killed, watched it butchered it with my own hands, kind of thing, and eating it. There is no like other feeling.
Can I ask why you were a vegetarian? What was it that...
Couldn't afford good meat. I couldn't
Interesting.
afford. I would rather drink mojitos and smoke Marlboro Lights, pretty much.
I think that be so honest.
Yeah.
The only meat I could afford was probably like the chicken out of the fake KFC. So, do you know what I mean? And I had a situation. There was a few things. Yeah. Didn't trust it. I didn't trust that it was what they said it was.
Yeah.
That it'd been prepared correctly. Probably the whole thing. I've got a massive phobia of throwing up, and I had food poisoning really bad, and so I just know that I'm going to be all right if I eat off the farm.
Amazing. That's
I
really
don't know.
honest.
I really worry now about things like how it's been killed and stuff, which wouldn't have probably crossed my mind when I was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I thought that deep into it. I would have cared about other things, but whereas now I think about how it's killed a lot.
Yeah.
I just think it's scary how quickly I'm friends with girls that I went to school with, and how many of them are now vegan.
Yeah.
And you just think, well, who's told you to do that then? Do you know what I mean? Like,
and again, a lot of it comes
nuts.
from good intentions that they think they have.
Oh, and it's not done in
No, and everybody has, again, if you're vegan, vegetarian, whatever, everybody has the right to a choice.
Yeah.
But just make sure you're making the choice on correct and factual information. That's all I ever say.
Informed choice.
Informed choice.
Also, this is the one thing that I always say, like, I love an avocado. Do you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely love one. But you don't have to cut it out completely. Just appreciate what you are eating. Don't just, eat every day and be like, mm. Do you know what I mean? Everything you eat, you should just really appreciate.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut everything out, because we're all human. There's no point people getting on their soapboxes about it. It's just boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just appreciate it, and yeah, that's how I feel anyway. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to cut out like bananas and stuff.
As always, thank you so much for watching the video, and also a massive thank you to Zoe and Kriss for being so hospitable at the busiest time of the year.
I actually can't believe I got to see a ewe lamb for the first time. I have learnt so much. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been an amazing day, and if you want to look at us visiting other farms, Lizzie milking a cow,
You know me.
a music studio, check out our videos on YouTube.
Definitely.